Hello, everyone. I'm Esperanza and this is Art from the Heart at St. Augustine's Church. And today, we're still in the topic of Bloom's backwash, feathering, and stippling. And the subject for today will be musical instruments, specifically a guitar. Okay. For this exercise, you might need to have a pair of scissors with you. And for the younger participants, you might need to ask assistance from mom, dad, or any older person who would be able to help you handle the scissors safely. Okay, and the reason for that is later on we would be cutting patterns. Okay, we are doing several exercises, and the first one would be an application of underpainting. So the first thing we have to do would be to sketch our guitar. Now, we might want to use the pattern and just trace it. So I will be doing that right now. Okay, I will just be tracing the cutout of the guitar. Oops, not doing a good job. I think I'm more used to drawing than tracing. So this is the guitar that we have after tracing it. I hope you can see it with the lighting. There we go. You can see part of it. And alternatively, you can just draw it freehand if you feel more comfortable just drawing the guitar. But later on, there will be an exercise that this cutouts would be a must. So for now, it's just to help us if we feel that we would just want to trace. Okay, and the next step for this one is to put an underpaint. So I will get my round brush and I'm just gonna paint the inside of this guitar with red, with water, and then paint it with red. Okay. So that's it. The figure will just be one solid color for now. And you can see how beautiful it is when the colors spread. And again, this is just underpaint. This will not be the final color of the guitar. There we go, we're almost finished. And there. A few more bits and we're done for this step. Okay, so now all we have to do is to let this guitar dry. So we will just let it dry and get back to it as soon as it's ready. This base paint for the guitar is almost completely dry. Now on days that, we used wet on wet for this inside part of the guitar. to give it that sort of flat wash, a smooth flow of the paint. Now, I understand that there would be days that we won't be so patient. Perhaps the air is quite humid and it takes too long to dry. So in such cases, we can also use wet on dry technique. However, we would see more of the brush strokes when we do that, but that would definitely dry faster. Okay, so the next step would just be to paint this randomly. So that's over the guitar in different colors. And again, that will be wet on dry. So that means my watercolor has to be really loose. And that means I have to add a lot more water than just to make it appear to be fluid. So now I'm just going to put some paint. Okay. And maybe I'm gonna paint this area as well with just watercolor. Yes, now I'm just painting it. I'm just dipping my brush in the water and spreading the orange paint around. Now this is from my well. Okay, now I'm gonna choose another color, perhaps yellow ochre. Let me just get well available for that. And then I'm gonna add some water and then just yellow ochre. And now let's do some blue. This would be a little bit more interesting because of the contrast in color. And as you can see there's some backwash already happening. And the goal for this exercise is just to mix the color. Mix the color. Now let's do some green. Okay. Okay, that's a bit too dark. Okay, I think I need more yellow. I've darkened my green too much. Okay, I think this one is good. Okay, so let's just paint some green. And the parts which are still wet um, shows that feathering and back feathering effect like this one, or backwashing. And then we see some blooms as well. So you can see how the technique is applied. And then maybe let's put something more exciting here, like purple, for example. Oops. So let's paint this area purple and this area as well. And so far we're doing a very good job. So what we're doing is just covering covering this area that we painted red and its surroundings with just different colors. Different colors. Okay. Oh, and then one more thing to be mindful of, is balance. So again, there's symmetry, there's balance. Now we're looking at balance. So that means, uh, since we have this part covered with paint, this part should not be left blank. So we would need to paint this with a certain color. I would say burnt sienna would be a good choice. simply because it's different from the rest of the colors. So if we have burnt sienna there, we would have to put burnt sienna here and here. And yeah, also in this area. Okay, now do we need any more color? Yes, I think it's still too light. I think we need a little bit more green. So let's just add a little bit more green, a bit darker probably in this area. Okay, it becomes a little bit more brownish when it mixes with the red. Okay, now again, what's missing here is just a little bit of balance. So what I'm gonna do is just get some lemon yellow for this one. And also maybe here. Aha, and here as well. So we have to be mindful of the balance. Oh wow, this is really beautiful. In this area you can really see the bloom. And later on, once it's dry, you will see the actual effect. So yeah, more blooms here. They're like cauliflowers. So now, same procedure as after applying our base layer, we just let it dry. So once it's dry, we will then add the detail to our guitar. It's now almost completely dry, so we can start painting the details of the guitar. So now we will go back to the original drawing where we see the strings and the other parts of the guitar. So we are going to paint that all in using watercolor. So I'm going to get black watercolor. Okay. And then this black watercolor, I am going to use to paint parts of this guitar. For example, there's a line here. And then, okay, this part is a little bit more interesting because from earlier, when we cut out parts of our guitar, we're left with this sheet of paper. So what I'm gonna do is to cut this further, like that. So I'm cutting it further. So this is what is left of the sheet of paper that we cut the pattern from. And now I am going to use this to paint the strings. So what I'm gonna do here, okay, well, first of all, I think I should measure. Okay, so from, say, here to here. So I'm now cutting it. Oops. Remember, it must be straight when you cut it. Alternatively, we can use this side to make sure it is straight. Okay, so let me just cut this further so for easier handling. So this is the straight part of the paper. So what I'm doing is just painting this with black paint. And then from here, the line here, I'm just going to paint one line. Okay. And as you can see, not all of it has paint. That's all right. And we have to do 6 of this. So this is the second one. Okay. I know it's not so straight. Okay, third one. Oops, it should be thinner, but in essence, that is what we should do. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now I would just lift the excess paint here because I don't want extra black paint here. Black paint I don't really need. Now I'm gonna rinse my brush. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now I continue with the strings. So this strings now reaches a certain area, which is this bit. Okay, I'm still gonna use black so that it can be seen. So it's just like painting a rectangle. But with some sort of nodules protruding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And this one, is going a little bit inward. So I'm going to make another line here to give it that illusion that it's straight. Alternatively, you can paint it just like this. But I wanted to share that technique with you. Okay, so now we're still missing some parts of the guitar and we just continue to um, paint those parts. So I need the 6 black dots, 3 on each side here. Okay, and then here, some sort of a node protruding outwards. Here again, and then here, this is the thing we turn when we're tuning our guitar. I forgot how it's called, I'm sorry. But I know this is what we turn because I used to play a 14-stringed instrument called the bandurria. It's similar to the guitar, but it sounds a little bit different. But the mechanism when tuning it is quite similar. Now, there's another part missing here. It's that round thing under the strings. So I'm gonna use a different color for that. I'm gonna be a little bit adventurous. So why not use yellow ochre? So inside this guitar, I'm gonna paint a circle in yellow ochre. Okay, and the circle is gonna be here. Before you put your underpaint, you can actually sketch the circle. That is fine. And then we can even put designs on our guitar. Like for example, let me put a design here at the bottom of the guitar. There we go. And that's in yellow ochre. Oh, and now the last bits of the string, we have to complete them. So 6 strings. So 1 string is going here. 1 is going here. And then another one is going here. Another one's going there. 1 here. And another one there. Okay, make sure it's connected to that sort of black dot. Okay. Now, let me add some more design here at the end. And then we can also put an outline for our guitar. So let's choose a different color just for fun. Say yellow, sorry, burnt sienna. Okay, so I'm just going to paint the outline here, but not the full guitar, just to make it look more exciting. Okay. Oh, and I think I missed something here, which you probably have noticed the strings here. It was covered by the circle, so we have to paint it black again. So there we go. And there we go. So this is the first piece that we're doing for this topic today. So it's one of the guitars. So we've seen the blooms, the feathering. We didn't do any stippling here, but more of blooms and feathering. And this is what we have. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye-bye.